Hello and welcome to Macroeconomics for Question and Answer for Exit Exam of 2026. My name is Belay. Indicate whether the sentence or the statement is true or false. The first one is for an economy as a whole. Income equal expenditure because the income of the seller must be equal to the expenditure of the buyer. The answer is true because, as we know, we can calculate GDP in three ways. Those three ways are the same. How they are the same? Our approach is expenditure approach, income approach, and production approach or value added approach. In three ways, our value is the same because the expenditure for one person is income for another person, so that they are the same. The second one is the production of an apple contributes more to GDP than production of gold drink because food is necessary for life itself. This is false. When we see the contribution to GDP, even a sector's contribution or product's contribution, the gold value is more contributed to GDP than the apple. If a timber yard sells 1,000 euros of timber to a carpenter, and the carpenter uses the timber to build garage, which he sells for 5,000 euros, the contribution to GDP is 6,000 euros. This is false because the timber is intermediate goods and the final GDP is calculated from the final values. The final values is 5,000 euros, and because of that, the contribution is 5,000 euros to GDP, not 6,000 euros. 100 timber is intermediate. Intermediate good is not added to GDP as we have seen in our YouTube. Number 4, a country with a large GDP per person generally has greatest standard of living or quality of life than a country with smaller GDP per person. This is true because GDP per person or GDP per capita, per populations or per person indicates the quality of life. If our GDP is big, our living standard is at good stage, according to macroeconomics. If nominal GDP in 2005 exceeds nominal GDP in 2004, real output must have risen. This is false because if nominal GDP in 2005 exceeds nominal GDP of 2004, that is maybe because of price increasement or because of inflation existed. Product may have big GDP, nominal GDP, it is not real GDP. Even though the product is not changed, even though the amount of the quintal of maize or the quintal of teff or the quintal of other or ton of a product is not changed, if price is changed, nominal GDP is changed because it is not real. Rather, it is measured in current market price. So it is false. Not only real outputs, there is also price or because of inflation. The sixth one is if UK GDP exceeds UK GNP, that is, gross domestic product exceeds gross national product, then foreigner produce more in UK than UK citizen produce in the rest of the world. This is true because when we come to the calculation of gross national product equal to gross domestic product plus net factor income. The net factor income equal to net factor income we get from outside minus net factor income we give for the outsider. So that if in our country citizens of other country produce or earn more money and our from the rest of the world earn low money or low income, it become negative. Our net factor income become negative, and so that's if gross national product equal to GDP minus that of gross net factor income, it is less than a GDP. That indicates foreigner earn more in our country or in UK country than UK citizens earn more from the rest of the world or from the outsider. You can do it by using your own calculation or by using the formula you can get, and also logically you can get the answer. Wages are example of transfer payment because there is a transfer of payment from the farm to the worker. This is false. Transfer payment is what governments give for affected oil seeds. Nominal GDP employs current price to value output, while real GDP employs constant base year's price to value the output. Yes, this is true. Because nominal GDP is measured by current market price and real GDP is measured by constant or base year price. How can we set a base year? You have to get from my YouTube. You can go to my YouTube and then you can get how it is set. Number 9, a new car produced in 2004 but first sold in 2005 should be counted in 2005 GDP because that is when it was first sold as final good. This is not correct. It is false. Produced item sold in that year should be recorded under that year, not transferred to the next year. Number 10, when the City Council of Southampton purchase a new school building, the investment component of GDP increases. The investment of GDP increases. This is false. This is false. This is regarding with government's expenditure, not investment. A recession occurs where real GDP declines. Yes, it is occur where real GDP declines. That is true. You can get this one from business cycle also, how recession is happened, and also how the economic boom, economic recovery, and so on is occurred. You can get from my YouTube. Number 12, depreciation is the value of the wear and tear on the economy's equipment and the structure. This is true because depreciation is the wear and tear of the equipment. A cigarette should be valued in GDP at 7.5 per pack, even though €5 of that price is tax because the buyer paid 7.5 per pack. yes, the value is GDP at 7.5 per person. So we can measure GDP at final values. Number 14, net national product always exceeds nation's total income because of depreciation and tax. This is false. You can get it from my YouTube how it is false. The next one is multiple choice. Number 1, an example of transfer payment is A, profits, B, rent, C, unemployment benefits, D, government purchase. That is, unemployment benefit is transfer. Number 2, the value of plants and equipment worn out in the process of manufacturing goods and services measured by A, intermediate production, B, net national product, C, investment, D, depreciation. As we said, it is depreciation. Number 3, which of the following would be excluded from UK GDP for 2005? Which of the following would be excluded from UK GDP for 2005? A, haircut, B, the value of lawyer service, C, 2005 Honda made in Swindon, D, all of things mentioned. This answer should be counted in 2005 GDP. E, home built in 2004 and the first sold in 2005. All included, but the home built in 2004 and the first sold in 2005 is not included. Because GDP is a given period of time that should be recorded. Number 4, the gross domestic product can be measured as the sum of A, final good in the service, intermediate good, transfer payment, and the rent. B, consumption, investment, government purchase, and the net export. C, consumption, transfer payment, wage, and the profits. D, net national product, gross national product, and the disposable personal income. As you see, the gross domestic product can be measured as the sum of consumption, investments, government purchase, and the net exports. Or you can say this one is expenditure approach ways of calculating our GDP. C plus I plus G plus X minus M, or totally net exports. Number 5, UK gross domestic product, in contrast to gross national product, measures the production and the income of A, British owned farm, no matter where they are located in the world. B, none of those answered. C, the domestic service sector only. D, people in the factor located within the border of UK. E, the domestic manufacturing sector only. As you see, it is production, the income of people and the factors located within the border of UK. GDP as well, the gross domestic products, the products that are produced within a given period of time and within a given boundary, not outside. So you can understand this one simply. The next gross domestic product is the sum of the market value of the A, intermediate goods, B, final good in the services, C, manufacturing goods, D, inferior goods in the services, E, normal good in the services. As you know, GDP measures the final goods in the services produced in a given period of time. Number 7, a nominal GDP in 2005 exceeds nominal GDP in 2004, then the production of the output must have fallen, must have raised, must have stayed the same, may have risen, fallen, or stayed the same because there is no enough information to determine what happened to the real outputs. The answer is B, because this is not full information. Nominal GDP may be exceed because of price, or it is maybe because of the real outputs. So it's not shows the exact information. Number 8, if cobbler buys leather for 100 euros and traded for 15, and they use them to produce and sell 500 worth of the shoes to consumer, the contribution to GDP is A 15, B 100, C 650, D 500 euros. So it is 500 euros. We have to measure GDP of the final value, not intermediates. Number 9, GDP would include which of the following? A, the value of taking a days off from work. B, consulting service. C, intermediate sales. D, legal drug sales. E, housework. The answer is consulting service. The other is intermediate goods. Or, for example, the illegal drug sales, the housework, intermediate sales, the value of taking a day off from the works. The other is intermediates. For example, illegal drug sale is underground economy or informal economy. This is also the main cause to understate the value of GDP. This one is not included. Number 10, real GDP is measured in blank price, while nominal GDP is measured in blank price. As you know, foreign and domestic current year, base year, domestic, foreign, base year, current year, intermediate, final. As you know, real GDP is measured by constant price, or it is by year, base year price. Base year is a fixed price that determined based on different criteria. Please, you can get, if you want the way to fix base year from my YouTube, so you can refer it. Now let us come to some calculations parts. Refer to this figure. What is the value of real GDP for 2004? So we can calculate GDP, real GDP, by using the base year price or constant price. Our constant year is year 2003. Year 2003 is our constant price, so we have to use it for our calculation. Then real GDP of 2003 is the same, that's 800, and the nominal GDP also 800. So after a while we are going to calculate our GDP deflator, we have to consider this one. Real GDP as well as nominal GDP of the base year is the same. So the value of real GDP of 2004 is 120 times 3, that is 100 quantity of pen, 120 times no price of 2004. We have to use price of 2003, even though the 3 is the same, but we have to use price of 2003 plus, again, price of the book of 2004 is 17. 70 times, not with 12, rather we have to multiply with 10, because we are going to calculate the real GDP, and the real GDP is calculated by constant price or base year price. Our base year price is 2003, so we have to use 10. 70 times 10 equal to 1060. 1060 is our real GDP for 2004. So the answer is B. The answer is B. The next, what is the value of GDP deflator in 2004? How you can calculate a GDP deflator? I hope you can get from my microeconomics videos, or you can see it from that. For now, GDP deflator equal to nominal GDP divided by real GDP. This is GDP deflator. It shows the inflation. It shows a change of price. Our GDP deflator shows a change of price. So the GDP deflators of 2004 equal to, first we have to know the real GDP and the nominal GDP. Then we have calculated as like this one. Now real GDP deflator equal to nominal GDP over real GDP times 100. So nominal GDP of 2004 is 1,200. Real GDP of 2003 is real GDP of 2004 is 1,060. Then 1,020, the 1,200 divided by 1,016 times 100 is equal to 113 is GDP deflator, or the change of price. Let us see. The answer is D. So the answer is D. We can calculate by using these techniques. Number 5, UK gross domestic product, in contrast to gross national product, measures the production and the income of A. British-owned firm, no matter where they are located in the world. B. None of those answered. C. The domestic service sector only. D. People in the factor located within the border of UK. E. The domestic manufacturing sector only. As you see, it is production, the income of people and the factors located within the border of UK. GDP as well, the gross domestic products, the products that are produced within a given period of time and within a given boundary, not outside. So you can understand this one simply. The next, gross domestic product is the sum of the market value of the A. intermediate goods, B. final good in the services, C. manufacturing goods, D. inferior goods in the services, E. normal good in the services. As you know, GDP measures the final goods in the services produced in a given period of time. The next one is, if UK GDP exceeds UK GNP, then intermediate production exceeds final production. Foreigners are producing more in UK than Britons are producing in foreign countries. Real GDP exceeds nominal GDP. Real GDP exceeds nominal GDP. Britons are producing more in foreign countries than foreigners are producing in UK. So the answer is B. Foreigners are producing more in UK than Britons are producing in foreign countries. We know that GDP exceeds gross national products. The other UK GDP would exclude which of the following? Lower service purchased by home buyers, the purchase of new Nissan producer in the Sunderland, copper purchased by third manufacturing British, a new artillery purchased by the city of Newcastle, low car service purchased by the homeowners. The answer is copper purchased by top manufacturer Britain. The next one is, how is your purchase of 14,000 BMW automobile that was produced entirely in German record in UK GDP accounts? A. Consumption increased by 14,000. The net export decreased by this. Net export increased by this. There is no impact because this transaction does not involve domestic production. The investment increased by this 14,000. The net export increased by 14. Net export decreased by 14,000 because if you import, net export is decreased because export minus imports resulted in net exports. If your grandparents buy a newly built retirement home, this transaction would affect what? Investment, net exports, government purchase, consumption, none of the answers. That is investment. That is investment. Thank you for being part of today's session, and I hope you found it helpful and informative. If you enjoyed the lesson, don't forget to subscribe and share my channel for more content on the macroeconomics and the others. In our upcoming session, we'll other part of macroeconomic exam. For the number. The order of the number is somewhat mixed, but the answer is the same. Thank you.